Hello and welcome to Ollie Talks Airsoft. Today we're going to be talking about the AKM by Tokyo Marine, and I've now had a chance to take it out and game it. So I haven't gamed it for very long. I was actually at a stag do this weekend, and the main event that they had planned for the stag was an airsoft game. It was only an hour and a half, so being that it was a few shorter games, like 20-minute games, I figured that was the perfect opportunity to take this AKM out and really stretch its legs, see what it can actually do. And I learned a few things along the way, and I also managed to do a little bit of footage at the place that we were staying. So you can always fast forward if you just want to look at that bit. But I have managed to get some of the flight of the different BBs using 0.25, 0.28 and 0.3 gram BBs. So that bit's all coming up if you want to see that. But I just want to say, actually on the stag do there's about 12 of us that went to play airsoft. I think one other person had played before, no one else had, and everyone absolutely loved it. They were all given combat machines. We were playing just outside Leeds. There was a paintball site that has the longest bridge in, I think they said in Europe. So that was pretty cool, and it was a very nice site. The marshals were very friendly. I did unfortunately have to wear a full paintball mask, which is one of the rules of the site because they have paintball players out there, which meant that unfortunately I couldn't see down my sights properly just because the mask was so massive. It's not how I would personally choose to play, but I must say the gun was really good. It was very consistent, it was very loud, everyone knew where I was, and it doesn't really come over on the video that well, but the rapport of this gun is really great. It's quite clanky, and it seems to be getting more so, kind of the more I shoot it, trying to get that dust cover to loosen up a little bit. I think the more I can sort of keep taking it on and off, it'll scrape a bit of the paint and it'll start to jangle around a little bit. So I don't know, it's actually sounding really good. As far as the shooting, yeah, I think you'll see from the upcoming footage that in reality you're going to be looking at engagements within about 50 meters. So also I'd probably bear in mind that in the upcoming footage as well, but it was pretty much done in that order, and I was down to vapor in my gas can when I was filling the mag for the last shots towards the camera. So I'm not sure, yeah, from what I was seeing, it wasn't pumping out quite the performance, but you know, this is what it was doing. That was probably the equivalent of like 144 gas, so you can still see that it's getting out to like the 50 meter mark, and you know, the accuracy is suffering a little bit, and guilty, that's probably mostly my bad shooting, but at least it's something to give you an idea of how this thing shoots out of the box with the different weights of BB. Personally, I think 0.28s are the maximum that you can realistically hop in this straight out of the box, and you're going to have to do a couple of mods in order to be able to continue on to further ranges and hopping heavier BBs. It tends to be, if you're going to be trying to shoot at a decent range, you're going to want to use something like a 0.32 gram BB, and currently this is not capable out of the box of doing that, so you're going to have to look at maybe changing a nub or changing the hop rubber. So I haven't actually dug into this yet. From the manual it looks like it's a VSR spec, so I would assume that there is a hop arm pressing down, and there's going to be room possibly to put an I key. If not, I think it should be a relatively simple modification in order to do that. What that's going to do is that's going to eke just that bit of extra range out of the system, hopping those heavier BBs. The only thing you have to be really careful though is dual creep. So the NWS dual creeps a lot, so you should always be testing on the weight of BB that you're actually going to use. This one, I don't know, it just seems to dual creep a little bit less. I need to test it, and I don't actually have a stock MWS. I've got a friend that's got a stock MWS, so I might ask to borrow that and see how the two different guns dual creep differently. But I just get the feeling that this just isn't dual creeping quite as much, and yeah, maybe it's because my MWS rifles are so sort of customized that I have to be very careful with them. But with this, yeah, maybe that's just the factory. So stay tuned, and I'm going to be testing, hopefully, with a stock MWS. Chris, can I borrow your MWS, please? Right, okay, on with the footage. So this is shooting the AKM by taking Marie 0.25 gram BBs, bit of wind. It's maybe 10 meters to the hedge line just in front. The trees at the back are probably 80 meters away. Okay, let's go. I'm going to shoot into the darkness right in the middle of the screen. So this is shooting 0.28 gram BBs. I'm going to shoot them into the dark area in the middle of the screen. It's very stable and very consistent. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so this time I've got some 0.3 gram BBs. The hop is on max. And I'm going to aim for the dark in the middle of the screen. So I think actually those 0.3s have got slightly less range. It didn't seem like it was hopping them, whereas the 2.8, it did seem like it was just about hopping them. So as you can see from that, actually the stock performance isn't bad. Like, bear in mind those last shots coming towards the camera, like that was the last of the gas in my can and in the mag. Everything was kind of dying at that point. I only had 0.25 gram BBs to shoot as well, so they were going up and they were over hopping, so I wasn't really giving you the full gas, you know, fresh mag. I think I'd probably shot about 8 or 9 mags at the point that I was doing that as well. So the mag had quite a bit of condensation on it as well. So bear that in mind. And it was still kind of, it looked like those BBs were dropping around about the kind of 50 meter mark. I think that is going to be your maximum range. And anything beyond that, and it was kind of struggling, even when it had sort of like the 0.28 and, you know, a full can of green gas. It just doesn't seem to quite have the reach that the MWS has. But as I said, you know, that's because my MWS, I can chuck pretty much any weight of ammo in it from 2.5s right up to 4s, and it'll run them, and it will hop them properly. So it'd be nice to get that kind of setup on here. But I have a feeling that as soon as I start doing that, the joules that the gun puts out is probably going to start becoming a problem. So, I don't know, for the time being, I think I'm probably going to leave this stock and just, I've got a game coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully by that point I'll have some more mags and they will have been delivered, and I can give you a real full game experience, rather than obviously continually refilling the same mag. You know, and to be honest, after an hour and a half, I did notice that, you know, the gun was a little bit more lackluster than it was to start off with, to be perfectly honest. So, yes, that's a flaw of the system, but ultimately, you're not normally going to be filling the same mag 8 or 9 times in a row. You're probably going to have about 4 or 5 mags on rotation, and so you're not going to get anywhere near that kind of, you know, usage out of a single mag. So actually, you know, from me, it still gets that big thumbs up. The recoil is great, the noise is great. Doesn't quite have the range that the MWS has. Maybe doesn't quite have the accuracy as well, but that's I still didn't have any trouble making those shots. You know, 1 shot, 2 shots at 40 meters and hitting my target, just using the iron sights. Really, really simple, really effective. So far, yeah, really, really pleased with this. And actually the upgrade potential internally, once I've had a chance to dig in here and check what kind of hot rubber it is and see what the number arrangements are, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty simple to upgrade, kind of like the MWS is. You've just got to know which pins to take out. Which brings me on to, I didn't actually realise, but this steel coloured pin just here, which I thought was actually part that was holding the barrel in, that's actually a fake pin there. So I've had a look in the manual and it's just the same on either side. There isn't actually a pin going through. There's a pin further down and there are 2 massive bolts going like that into the system. So at some point I will be doing a full strip down and, you know, let's dig into this, let's see what we can do with it, let's have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, for the time being, you know, if you're looking for a gun that is an AK that's very reliable, that, well, thus far it's very reliable, you know, it's not having overgassing issues or anything like that. It's, you know, I have not had any gas like spurting out of the side, even after, you know, 8, 9 mags of the same mag just being run through it. Most guns are sort of spurting something out of the side. Even the MWS was, you know, putting something out of the ejection port. This just doesn't. It just, even if the mags are cold and it's a cold day, it just runs. You know, you get slightly reduced power, you get reduced range, but it still runs. So for me, this is like, I can't wait to see how this runs in the winter, because I think it's going to be really good. I think that bigger bore cylinder is going to make all the difference. And as you know, as we're sort of heading towards the winter months now, the chance of potentially upgrading the hop in here so that I can hop slightly heavier BBs at colder temperatures, yeah, that's kind of tempting for me. As long as I keep that flexibility in the system so I can still hop like a 0.25 or a 2.8, then I'll be quite happy. And yeah, we're just going to have to deal with the joule creep as it comes. But there is always the option to switch out to 144A gas, and that is just an immediate quick fix. You know, I always take a can of 144 with me, and just in case my gun's running a bit hot, I can just be like, that's fine, I can just purge the mags, or empty, you shouldn't really purge the mags, you just mag dump, basically. Mag dump the mags out, replace it all with 144 gas, then re-chrono, and that will give you lower results. And at that point, if you're still joule creeping, you're just going to have to be able to knock your weight of BB down, which is why I still want to be able to hop like a 0.25 gram BB, because that's what I was using. I used the sight chrono that they had this was putting out 299 FPS consistently over about 5 shots. So it was well within the field limits. But I know that if this was to step up to a 0.32, there is a chance that this could start dual creeping. So we've got to be careful of that. But for the time being, very, very happy. I know there's things you can do to this. I know that, you know, this is where the inner barrel ends. So we've got plenty of room to go up on this. You know, there's plenty that we're going to be able to do with the hop. And so far, as I said, the system is proving itself to be quite consistent, which is exactly what I was looking for. So hopefully you guys have found this interesting. There are going to be some more videos coming up, less AK focused. I'm going to do some more on my MWS loadout video and things that I keep in my spares box as well. So if you want to get notified of all that stuff, then subscribe down below. If you like the content and the videos, then hit the like button. And until then, guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.